Maschine have been running adventure bike tours all around the globe since 2011. In that time, we've seen some amazing places. We're back here for GDR 3 in Mackay, and guess what? It's raining again. We finished off GDR 2 in May last year, May 2022, back here in Mackay. And now, a little bit over 12 months later, we're here in Mackay, about to kick off GDR Stage 3, and it's raining a little bit. But today is day 0. Everyone's getting organised today. We're fitting some tyres, and then we've got our riders briefing later this afternoon, and then we'll kick off riding tomorrow. So logistically, this Great Divide Ride Stage 3 is one of the trickier ones. We are covering a fair bit of distance, about 3,500 kilometres. We've got a good number of staff supporting the riders, so we've got 10 staff on this event, performing roles like lead riding, sweep riding, medical, got our luggage van and the four-wheel drive support vehicle, plus a bit of media on hand. So, and I guess the challenge with this one is the distances that we've got to cover some of the days, 400 and 500 kilometres on a couple of the days. And then we contrast that with some really tricky technical terrain on the overland telegraph track and the Creb track if we get to do them. The weather's a bit wetter at the moment, and some of those tracks out there are still wet. So we're going to have to see what plays out during the week. But we've got a good support crew on board to help all the riders get through.
12 months ago we left here and it was raining, and it's still raining. Hopefully these new tyres will come in handy with the wet weather.
Hi, I'm David. I'm part of the Maschine crew. I work as one of the medic sweeps. Basically spend my time riding along, helping people out, having a great time, making sure everyone's okay, and hopefully not having to look after too many people. But we have a great time, and we're having going to be a fantastic event, the GDR 3. Huge bucket list being ticked off.
At the moment we're just fitting up tyres on day 0. We've got a heap of tyres to fit so guys can start off on fresh rubber and do a nice decent ride. Hopefully they'll get all the way through on this rubber. New tyre machine we're learning here today. Just fitted up a tyre for Desert X. Some bloke there behind the camera not looking at anyone, Geordie's getting some decent rubber. Yeah, that's it. Lots to do, lots to go. Looking forward to it. A bit rainy today, a bit worried about that, but hopefully tomorrow will be a good day.
The Maschine crew assembled together to discuss plans and make sure everyone was on the same page. The logistics for this event were reasonably complex, mostly because of the remote nature of the terrain we'd be riding through from day 3 onwards. So with the Crocs, I guess the main thing is to They can be sneaky buggers. Sometimes they could, you could be looking at the water expecting that's where they're going to come from, but often they will be behind you in the bush. So day 9 in particular, going across Lakefield National Park, that's a prime spot for them. But yeah, just don't be complacent. They can be hiding, sneaky. On Cape York Peninsula, your options are limited and distances are vast. With that out of the way, we got everyone together for dinner and our first riders briefing. There are some unique challenges in this part of the country. So, welcome to GDR3. Welcome to Mackay. I realised after the years of running adventure bike tours, all the good ridings along the east coast, zigzagging the way up and down the Great Dividing Range. And so that was the idea, the concept was to string all those really cool tracks together. We have missed out on some good tracks because of weather, but we'll do some really awesome ones this week, I know. It's 5 days' time. We're all going to be standing at the tip of Cape York, looking out in the ocean and thinking back to where we started at Mount Zero. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm really thankful for all of you that are in the room tonight that have been with us for GDR1, GDR2, even though they were soaking wet. Definitely some good memories that we've built, and yeah, we'll finish it off in 5 days' time, or really 10 days' time. I know I'm looking forward to it personally, so let's make sure we all get there to the tip, and then even beyond that, home to your families. Yeah? That's one thing I'd love to happen this week. Yeah, thanks, Dave. Thanks, everyone. Stage 1 began at Mount Zero and took us up through Victoria to the Hunter Valley in New South Wales, over 2,200 kilometres. Stage 2 was another 2,800 kilometres that got us up into Queensland to Mackay. Now the final Stage 3 will take us all the way to the tip of the Cape York Peninsula before returning south to finish at Palm Cove, 3,500 kilometres. This has been a mammoth ride series, the greatest in Machine's history. It would be fair to say the biggest adventure ride series in Australia, around 8,500 kilometres from Mount Zero to the tip. Day 1, Mackay to Townsville, 512 kilometres. It was laughable that day 1 of Stage 3 began in Mackay exactly how we finished Stage 2 back in May last year. Wet, wet, wet. Still, it didn't dampen the enthusiasm. Everyone donned the wet weather gear to protect themselves from the elements. It's ride day, we're loading up, we've got a bunch of tyres getting loaded on the trailer, we've got some bikes rolling through, all the guys are dropping off their bags, loading them up in the van, and we're going to hit the road soon. We had some pretty horrendous sort of storms last night, dumped down a heap of rain. It's really windy this morning. We've seen some photos from the lead riders up in the mountains, and there's a lot of water gushing down the side of the hills. So it's going to be interesting to see what we find out there. I think traction will still be all right. Hopefully it's not a replay of GDR2 last year when we ended up here in Mackay.
Looking forward to getting up to Townsville today. It's been raining all night and there's a lot of water up north, so let's see how we go.
It's wetter than an otter's pocket, which dovetails nicely with the end of GDR2. So Mackay is as we found it when we were last here, but you can't dampen the spirits. We're going to head our way to Townsville. We're not going to worry about the wet, we're not going to worry about the wind. We're just going to have a good time on the bikes.
Within 50 kilometres of leaving Mackay, we had already come across a showstopper, a flooded river causeway near Finch Hatton Gorge. Yeah, I don't think that one's going to be happening. We just watched a crocodile float by.
Yeah.
This was usually just a small creek, so we wondered what was to come. How would you be, hey? Last time we came to Mackay, finishing off GDR2, we had really similar conditions, and now, first day, GDR3, we're only, 50 kilometres in, and we've got our first impassable crossing there. The lead riders went through earlier and it was all good, but now that's got at least 500 mil of water going over it according to the marker on the side there. So we're at the tail end of the pack. A few riders have already turned around to take a detour. So hopefully this doesn't continue for much longer.
Bit of volume behind that, isn't there? We're supposed to cross that, are we? If we had a boogie board.
about 200 kilometres of gravel roads ahead of us, but much of it was more like jet skiing. Tyre choice and line selection were critical. Okay, we got this. Or maybe not.
What's happening here, Nick?
I was trying to follow your instructions, George. Make something look good in the river, he says. Definitely having flashbacks right now to GDR2. That bit of road back there is so unpredictable. You can ride along happily as day and nice sort of rocky stuff, and then you hit some of this sandy terrain here and the bike just loses all directional control all over the shop. It is starting to lighten up though, so I think the rain's about to stop. I won't say stop, it's easing up. So hopefully it's a bit easier up ahead.
Yeah. Absolutely lovely day. We've had some mud, we've had some rain, we've had a couple of little offs, but I'm still having fun. I'm still smiling, believe it or not, behind here. But I'm wet. Damn am I wet. There is nothing that's not saturated. But we're having fun, that's all that matters.
It's just having a break.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Well, we were told that after 60 k's the rain would be fine, rain would clear and it would be a great day. Second day we're coming into Mackay, it's just horrendous. The water and the mud. Talk about skating ring. Yeah, it was it was good though.
Thankfully, after our first stop at Collinsville, saw the rain easing up and the sun began to poke through. This allowed us to enjoy the sights coming into Townsville on dusk. Believe it or not, we even found dust. "92 millimetres of rain in Mackay last night when we happened to be there, and that was like more than what they normally get in a month. Awesome. So tomorrow you'll notice is a massive one, 518 kilometres on the enduro route, and I would suggest that most of you do the enduro route. It's not difficult, but it's grade 2. I think today was grade 2 as well. Once we get on the enduro route there, it's running through, as I said, good open flowing sort of cattle country, basically, mostly sort of fifth gear flowing stuff through the valley lagoons. But you do need to keep moving and keep a decent speed on to do that 511 kilometres for the day. That's the enduro component of it. And it'll be a little bit more fatiguing, particularly if we get adverse weather conditions. Day 2, Townsville to Lake Tinaroo, 518 kilometres. Townsville is a big city, with Castle Hill a prominent feature of the landscape. We are getting into far north Queensland now. A massive day lay ahead, but first we must caffeinate. This was likely to be our last proper coffee of the trip, so we took our time to savour it.
Maschine demonstrated how amazing they are by guaranteeing the continuity of the riding experience we had when we finished here in the GDR2. They organised a storm cell so we could continue riding in horrendous mud for hundreds of kilometres in pouring rain. What can I say? It's the start of a great adventure.
Did you learn a few tricks from GDR2 on that type of road?
I did actually. Don't be embarrassed about riding slow and having your legs out.
A lot of the guys have already left town. I think the support crew were the last ones to get out of here. Beautiful morning though, the sun's starting to peek through those clouds. We're going to start to head up the Paluma Range and head over on the western side of the Great Divide towards Atherton Tableland. So looking forward to getting up there. Apparently there might still be a little bit of misty rain, but we'll see what's up ahead.
Her skin, she fills in all her imperfections with
flowing roads generally allowed us to make some good time, but there was one patch of about 500 metres that did change our rhythm.
We've had hours and hours of wet clay. No dry clay. Wet red clay. Wet white clay. I think there was wet pink clay. We've had every type of clay, as long as it can be wet, in the last few hours. It's been fascinating. It's been rewarding. Adventure rider. Catch the fever.
It's actually pretty good. It was wondering whether the sun was going to come out, whether it was going to rain. Unfortunately it rained, but we've been managing it. It's been going pretty good so far. I mean, it's hop, skipping and jumping everywhere. And this is probably the worst of it here. The water's got into the mud and a few people have gone for a bit of a slip and slide. Either way, it's all adventure riding, isn't it? That's what it's all about.
The landscape was constantly changing. Anthills started to appear in amongst the cattle country. There was constant tension about weather and if the rain was going to leave us to really enjoy these roads. The last 50 odd kilometres through the Atherton tablelands was some of the most obscenely wet and windy conditions many of us had ever experienced on bikes, like being pressure washed at 100 kilometres an hour. Arrival at Lake Tinaroo Resort was a welcome sight.
I don't know how many changes of dirt there was. There was red, sand, and then clay and gravel. It's unbelievable. And then you'd get a bloody one of those little creeks with a sharp right just at the top of it. Bring you undone every time.
Yeah. I needed a little bit of warmth, so I got a few free expresses. Insulation. Newspaper's great insulation. Plus it dries out my boots tonight when I go to bed.
Are we having fun yet? Yes! Good. I think it was about 140 kilometres of mud that we rode today, so yes, you can tell everyone you know how to ride mud now. Tick that box. Who had a good one today anyway, despite all that? It was kind of interesting, wasn't it? Tomorrow we get into what I consider to be the start of the Cape. We get onto the Peninsula Development Road and we end up at Hahn River tomorrow night, and for me this is now when we're really starting to get into the Cape. The route I've got there for tomorrow, we go through Daintree National Park as well, which is absolutely spectacular. It's stunning. And we're definitely getting into croc country there. As I said, the Daintree definitely has crocs in it, and any of the little rivers that we go across after that, there's definitely crocs around. So now is the time we need to start turning on that awareness for crocodiles. A warm shower and a dry bed never felt so good. Day 3, Lake Tinaroo to Hahn River, 484 kilometres.
Wrestling with the bones beneath your skin. Show love to love into the stable.
We woke up to rain. I'm thinking the clouds are going to part. Sunshine rays are going to come down upon our bikes. They're going to light us up like Christmas trees. Unicorns and rainbows. I love unicorns. This is going to clear. This is not going to go on for a third day.
Looking for a bit of sun today, hopefully. A bit over the wet, but I'm not at work. Yeah, it looks good. Laura's 31, so we'll get hot and steamy instead of wet and cold. How are you, mate?
Good. On the new rig?
Yes.
Is this its first rodeo?
It is. Its first big rodeo. Yeah. Good initiation. Yeah.
Sound off. Let the light of the moon tattoo these words
Day 3 of GDR3. Now we're getting into it. The landscape changed as we left Lake Tinaroo and headed north. There were definitely more direct routes we could have taken, but Daintree National Park is such a stunning location, we couldn't miss it.
Some of the challenges are keeping very expensive electrical gear nice and dry and safe from the weather. I'm 100% sure I'm not going to get the rainbows and unicorns that I was hoping for this morning now. The sun did try to come through. You could see it wanted it. It wanted to be part of our ride, but no! Moto God said no. They said clouds and rain for you, you bastards.
So day 3 started off similar to the first couple of days. We've left Lake Tinaroo this morning, we're at Mossman now, and we're about to start the Daintree National Park just up that way. Lots of beautiful rainforest up in the Daintree, which will be nice to look at regardless of the weather. But it is wet. We're hoping it dries off this afternoon when we start the Peninsula Development Road and start making our way up Cape York Peninsula.
I don't know what you've been told. This here is not your home. You want some trouble. You want some. Come on in and I'll take hold. These hands will break your bones.
The Daintree River Ferry was a nice change in modes of transport. It acts like a gateway to the wonders of the rainforest beyond.
I see blood in the water. Run deep, it runs deep. Blood in the water. I see blood in the water. Try me, you see blood in the water.
Emmingen Creek is the first river crossing after the almighty Daintree, and although its size is not comparable, it definitely wasn't all smooth sailing for our group.
Styrofoam. Ooh, want some trouble? Ooh, come get some. If you're here, shake my home. Knock you down like dominoes. You want some trouble? Ooh, when I see you, I see.
We did end up with a few drowned bikes at Emmingen Creek, and because they were all multi-cylinder bikes, it would take some time to dry them out. We decided the best course of action was to load them on the trailer and push on.
Well, you know, I dropped it in the water. Thankfully on the non-airbox side, so no drowning, but had a swim. Actually, it was just because I wanted to watch the radiator.
Yeah.
That's
and
why.
Because we were down on content the last couple of days.
Yeah, I'm trying to up the content.
Because you're a great guy.
Anything for the shot. Do you want me to do it again? I can have another go?
Yeah, please.
Got a slightly drowned Ducati we're going to have to fix. Got 2 super wet bikes on the trailer already, and we've got one here that's 3/4 apart, so we're going to have a quick go at trying to de-water this one and get him back on the track. That's the plan.
I started early, the sun was still up, in my Ducati. I'm blacked out, neon lights are a twisted spiral. There's no denying, I'm blacked out. I'm blacked out. Double shots like they're going out of style. I need to get away once in a while. I wanna go and go, eat love, the subway line. My shirt's out in my own blood. Walking down the city of Alameda. I'm on the road and can't remember why. I need a chick, I'm headed for the cedar, but it's 4 a.m. I'm out of time.
A quick stop at Bloomfield Falls delivered the goods, followed by a quick drink at the famous Lion's Den Hotel. Then it was a dash up the highway, on Tahan River Roadhouse, the beginning of the Peninsula Development Road. Damo ultimately would get his sunshine and rainbows. Not sure about the unicorn though.
Brilliant tracks. We've had water, river crossings, many river crossings. We've had flooded bikes. We've got a little bit of work to do tonight again, but it's been an awesome day. Loved every minute of it.
Rolling into Tahan River was to be our first camping night. After a big day in the saddle, we had a great feed, then the team got stuck into dewatering the 3 bikes on the recovery trailer. It would be a late night. Day 4, Tahan River to Bramwell Tourist Park, 460 kilometres.
I said, come down, calling your inner soul.
It was busy in camp the previous night with all the drowned bikes getting worked on, but each one of them were up and running again the next morning.
Yeah, late night last night, and we got 3 bikes that were drowned. So I worked on the KTM, a couple others worked on the Africa Twin, and the Ducati's just getting an oil change now, and they're all up and running.
It was the first one across the creek that drowned the bike. Then we cleared the rocks out of the way to get the rest of the people over. Worked on it last night to about 11:30. Now I'm about to go over, dump the oil, and put new oil in and everything else, but the bike's running again, so.
Lives another day.
Lives another day, mate. It's a Ducati, it just keeps on going.
Sleep?
Well, I laid down. I don't know about sleep too much, but yeah, it was all good.
Yeah.
No sleeping bag, mate. I forgot my sleeping bag. I was a bit chilly.
So this was our first night of camping at Tahan River. Half the boys had swags over there, some of them had dongers over that way, and we're on the Peninsula Development Road. We are on Cape York. Heading north today up to Bramwell Station, Bramwell Tourist Park, and we'll have a nice meal there, and pretty easy riding today. Big open road cruising, no mud, no wet weather. It's going to be glorious. Peninsula Development Road, or PDR as it's known in these parts, is the lifeline that connects Cape York Peninsula with civilization. Stretching some 570 kilometres from Lakeland to Weipa, it alternates from sealed bitumen to gravel surfaces and is well known for developing suspension and wheel braking corrugations. Gun barrel straight sections of bitumen, we soon got bored and did what we could to keep ourselves entertained.
Mr. Green.
Just stopping some anti-vibration
Device. Very technical.
I need to make sure everything's tip-top.
Yeah. I suppose if you're travelling at 170 kilometres down the road, you kind of...
I don't know who would be travelling that speed, Matt. Do you know? 170? No. Great fun in that high-speed stuff.
Rain coming in sideways. It's a fair old contrast, isn't it? It's gone from mud to dust. So. In the heat.
Yeah, and the heat.
Pretty much everyone took the Enduro option through Lilyvale Station, but not everyone made good line choices here. David seemed oblivious to the perfectly dry line that skirted around this stinking, festering mud hole. I was upset with him, forcing me to get my boots wet again. I don't think Bob was too happy with him either. This is what Cape York is about. Adventure and helping your mates get through. I wasn't stopping for David this time though. Bramwell Tourist Park is the most northerly cattle station in Australia. In 2021 was purchased by the Queensland government but still operates as a tourist park and has done since the 1980s.
The roads were fantastic. The enduro track was amazing. There's multiple water crossings which we all got through, and it was doing so well. Come around the corner and saw a really big bog hole. No issue, know what to do, got into it. As the front wheel disappeared into it, as it dropped off the rut in going in, I thought it may not go well. And the bottom was actually very thick mud and it stopped. The bike and I stopped. The god of mud reached up and said, "You shall bow down now." So we did. All part of the fun, but amazing day. Brilliant roads.
You'll notice the enduro route is actually shorter, 215 kilometres. That's a bit of a lie though, because it ain't easy. The enduro route takes in the overland telegraph track, or the old overland telegraph track, the telly track as it's known. This one's a cracker. It's got some famous creek crossings in there like Gunshot. What we're trying to avoid tomorrow on the telly track is carnage of drowned bikes. We saw it happened yesterday at Emmingen Creek. We had 3 bikes go down and things can unravel pretty quickly, but there's some easy ways that we can avoid that if we look after each other and support each other through there. And all we're doing basically is the southern end of the telegraph track. There is also another northern section as well. We were only 240 kilometres from the tip now. All that laid in our way was the infamous overland telegraph track. Day 5. Bramwell Tourist Park to Punson Bay. 215 kilometres. 215 kilometres. Sounds like a walk in the park after our previous days. And what a peaceful morning it was. The warming sun rays were a beautiful way to begin the day. To savour a coffee and chat amongst mates. The guys are just having breakfast now and we're about to go and tackle the overland telegraph track, or the telly track as everyone calls it. We've got probably about 2/3 of the group keen to do it. The rest of the guys are going to go around on the adventure route and we'll meet them up at Fruitbat Falls. But the telly track is one of those famous tracks up here on Cape York that everyone wants to do, especially in the 4-wheel drives. We're on the bikes. I think we're going to be taking different lines down in and through the creeks. And hopefully the water levels aren't too high, because that's one thing the bikes don't like, is when the water's too high. So fingers crossed we can get through them all cleanly without drowning any bikes today.
It's new to you, this track?
No, I rode it in 1988 on an XR 600 with my brother and a mate of mine from Cobar, and it was fantastic. Dirt all the way, no fuel stops, none of this bloody pulling up and get the singer in a nice warm bed. It was on the ground, a sleeping bag, didn't even have a tent. And a bit older and a bit softer now, so.
Yeah, first time on a telly track. Yeah, pretty pumped actually. Yeah, very, very excited. Bit of a bucket list item for me, so.
Some riders had history with the telly track. Others would make their own history today. This is it, Jord. We're about to do it. Telly track's just over there. We're at Bramwell Roadhouse, all fueling up. It's 20 past 8 in the morning. We're about to go and hit the telly track, and then we'll finish up at the tip this afternoon. I think the boys are all excited. Our plan was to keep everyone together as we moved through the telly track, so we could spot the best lines and help each other out at the more difficult creek crossings. As Mike Tyson famously once said, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth. Hey John, what were you saying about the DR last night?
Yeah, I think that's what everyone else is saying.
And how good is this place? This is why we come all the way to Queensland for the telegraph track, the awesome tele track. So we'll get this tyre changed and get out there to have a bit more fun on the bikes. Rip some skids, eh? Loving life.
And the telly track started to sucker punch us.
Look like I know what I'm doing.
It looks like it.
Really? It does?
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
But to me, so it's a really low base.
Cool that.
To recount this day accurately and the challenges that unfolded would require everyone present in the one room at a royal inquiry. Some of the river crossings look like lovely spots to hang out. We had a dozen or so to cross. Line selection is critical at some crossings. At others, you don't have a choice. Gunshot is the big daddy of all creek crossings on the telly track, with a massive gouge in the earth carved out by four-wheel drives over the years. The first time I saw this obstacle was on the Recce Run in 2022. A four-wheel drive ute had its nose buried in the mud as I peered over the edge. Down in the water was two girls stripped down to their underwear, trying to attach a tow strap to the ute. That was a welcome distraction. Sadly, no helpers were here today. For four-wheel drives, this place is a mecca. Fortunately for the bikes, we had chicken tracks to use and we made short work of Gunshot. Much easier. The difficulty we faced as a group is that many of our riders are on multi-cylinder adventure bikes that are heavier and take way more effort to de-water after a drowning. We were trying to avoid that. Cockatoo Creek. Look at that water. So beautiful and clear, so inviting. It was irresistible to some. Cockatoo Creek is the next to last crossing. We were nearly there. We got this. Oh, maybe we haven't got this. Even long limbs couldn't save Jeff from drowning his husky LR. At least it floats. What hope did the rest of us have?
Let's go.
Thought I had it mastered, and then one lousy hole in the river, and down I went. One thing I know for sure is LR's float. So we've got a spark plug and clean the engine out now, so we'll see how we go.
A little bit of a struggle. It sounds like a few boys come across on the wrong line and drown their bikes, so we've got to get those out, get them going, and then get the rest of these boys up. So
That's all right. You saw them out sun up the hill there. It was pretty good. Got a lesson from the captain, didn't they?
it's a way to do it. Way to do it.
Even once you got clear of the water, this creek crossing wasn't done with us yet.
I reckon he's the captain. That's why he called me him the captain. I brought a few bikes up myself.
but they were smaller bikes.
You work up to it, eh? You're lieutenant?
Well, he hasn't called me lieutenant yet, and unless he calls you lieutenant, you're like, not the lieutenant.
Having a ball, Geordie. I got up. And I'm just helping everyone else. It is what it is, eh?
We decided to split up into two groups, so some riders would have a chance of getting in before dark. One last water crossing at Sailor Creek would claim another victim, with Pete drowning his Desert X for a second time. This day just kept delivering the jabs. It was 4:30 p.m. I'd already towed John's DRZ about 10 kilometres through the top end of the teletrack, and now we had another drowned bike to be towed. At least until we met up with the sweep ute. Turned out the recovery trailer was already full. With a hard deadline of 5 p.m. to be at the Jardine River Ferry before closing, this wasn't looking good. Once out of the teletrack, we still had a ride of 65 kilometres on the PDR to the ferry. Part of the support crew got to the river and started to consider options. The luggage van had crossed the Jardine hours ago, so we had no gear with us to spend the night sleeping on the south side. With the sun setting, we started to prepare ourselves mentally for sleeping rough on the ground tonight, with little food.
If you could just send a message to Nick, say that he's here until 6:30. He's going to hold it open, and just to pin it. Get here quick. Yeah, all right. Thanks, Trude.
Got ourselves a little bit of a pickle here.
We've had a few offs, and we've had a few bikes get a little water in them. We had 2 bikes going, and I would have assumed that they would have been here by now, but we're hoping that we can beat the ferry. If they want to come across, they're going to have to swim across and leave their bikes here. And it doesn't look that long, that far. Crocs aren't that quick, are they? So there's a camping area straight over here, and it would be laying your head against your helmet, I guess, for the night, because there's no fuel. We can't go back that way because we haven't got the fuel. So, wait and see.
Back at Cockatoo Creek, we got 4 drive assistants to scull drag John's dead DRZ up the sandy riverbank. Thankful for small mercies.
Oh!
Oof. Another blow to the guts.
Nah. Yeah, I know. That's alright, mate. Look.
One of the small mercies being John's DRZ 400 firing back into life after the gear lever was bumped into gear while being towed. Pete and his drowned Desert X soon became the one dangling off the end of the tow strap. We were still on the teletrack about 75 kilometres from the ferry and out of mobile range.
Cockatoo is where I left them, and we had still got a John's DR 400.
Still blown up.
Can't get it going. So there's 7 or 8.
Yeah. So, but they were coming through?
Well, Peter's bike can't go.
As riders trickled into the Jardine ferry crossing, the stories from the teletrack were growing.
It's always an adventure. Always.
You're leaking.
Yes, I've been leaking for the last 100 k's.
How many chilies?
Chilies?
Yeah, on the chili meter.
10.
It was 5, yeah. If you were trying to do it by yourself, 5.
Yeah, oh yeah. Easy. You couldn't do it by yourself.
As the sun set, the ferry crew were antsy to get home, so they called last crossing. A little greasing of the wheels, and against all odds, we got the whole team across the Jardine before the ferry boys called it quits for the day.
Let's do it, Dave. Well done. Whatever you've done, Dave, thank you.
You
guys are legends. Thank you. It was quite the day, Geordie. I think we've only done 70 kilometres or something, but it's been an 8 or 9 hour mission. What? But we made it. We're over the north side of the Jardine. The tip's just there. I'm so stoked we got over that ferry. We were ecstatic. We made it. It was emotional.
Yeah.
What a day to be a tour operator.
We weren't laid out on the canvas yet. The beers and pizza never tasted so good as we recounted all the happenings of the day. Day 6. Punson Bay to Pajinka return. 60 kilometres. We made it. The tip was now within sight. A rest day. A well-earned rest day for everyone. And we've got a bit of a triage going on, trying to fix a number of bikes, just general maintenance and some drown bikes and things like that. So it was kind of planned this way. I mean, we knew there was going to be maintenance required to make it all the way through. It's pretty hard terrain out there, pretty tough on the bikes and the riders up here. So to be honest, the rest day was, this was kind of factored in. Would have been nice to get to the tip yesterday instead of doing it today. Could have been a complete rest day, but anyway, it is what it is.
Got the devil's juice in there.
Yeah. There's a few struggles. There was a lot of carnage out there on the trails. We had quite a few people fall numerous times. We had a couple of bikes get drowned. A lot of towing for a lot of kilometres. Bike with a broken clutch that had to be ridden out and then dinked out and dinked back and yeah, a lot of carnage, but damn, it was a lot of fun. Absolutely sensational fun. There were 17 bikes that needed attention, and I think most of them are well and truly on the way. There's about 4 big jobs still to be done, but most of them on the way, so yeah, pretty good.
The job wasn't done yet. We still had one more leg to attend to get everyone together at the tip. This is what we all came here for, to stand on the northernmost point of mainland Australia. So we did it. GDR3 is done. We made it all here to the tip, and that was a pretty cool effort. So we spread it out over 3 years. GDR1 in 2021, GDR2 in 2022, and now in 2023, we've completed GDR3 up here at the tip. It's an awesome feeling.
To be here at the tip with this great group and Trudy and Nick's management and their team behind the whole thing has just made it such an easy thing to do. No worrying about loading up your bike with all the gear and where to go. It's all done for you. All you got to do is go out and have fun.
Accomplishment to go that all the way, and with all the guys we've done and done some amazing riding through some amazing country of Australia.
Toasting with a shot of rum seemed appropriate. In the 3 years of our Great Divide Ride series, we lost some good mates from our Maschine family. Trevor, John, Paul. They were with us all the way to the tip. It doesn't take long for the memories of the shared good times to take over and just appreciate having these special people in your life. It was high time to let our hair down a little. We did it. Riding the entire length of Australia's Great Dividing Range was a mega achievement. For me personally, this was massively satisfying to see come to fruition. The ride concept that I first made notes about way back in 2013. That's right, I first came up with the idea of the Great Divide ride 10 years ago. It took several years for the plan to fully bake into a workable commercial product, but to have it all come to completion 10 years later was huge. It was a massive relief. But we still had to get everyone back to civilization. We still had 3 days of riding ahead of us to get back south to the end of our trip at Palm Cove. May the adventures continue. Well, we made it. We're here at the tip of Cape York, northernmost part of Australia. That was a really good feeling yesterday to get all of the guys, everyone that started with us in Mackay, we got them up to the tip and celebrated with the toast right there at the point. And of course, we had to get a photo at the sign. So that was a really cool feeling to knock that off. Now today we head back southward. We've got 4 days of riding still to go to get us back to Cairns or back to Palm Cove where we finish. So we're off to Weipa today. And we get to have a swim in Fruitbat Falls, which we missed out on the day before because we had our hands full on the telly track. We are going to do the northern end of the telly track today and then drop in at Fruitbat Falls and Elliott Falls and probably have a bit of a swim there. We've got the sun belting down on us today, real contrast from the start of the week. It's supposed to get up to about 35 degrees today, so it's going to be that real hot northern Queensland weather. We're going to have all the sweat sticking the red dirt to us. Whatever we wear won't come back the same again. We didn't get time to visit Fruitbat Falls on our way north, but never mind, today we would. Elliott Falls was a picturesque delight, and I dare say it, more interesting than Fruitbat Falls. The water was glorious at either one. After a refreshing dip, we sat on the PDR for a straightforward run to fuel up at Bramwell.
Obviously broken at one because I was riding along before and I thought I must have put the seat on properly and it started.
And this big ass crack gap here.
Bloody Beamers, so unreliable.
We've got some carnage today. Bikes are getting whacked around a bit. One in limp mode, one broken in 5 pieces, and the other one with a big flat spot on the front rim and some broken spokes. Harsh country. Weipa has some massive mining operations for bauxite, and I would have liked to have taken a mine tour to see more. Great accommodations and meals in Weipa prepped us well for day 8. Day 8, Weipa to Cohen. This is the day of the event for many riders that will be remembered for years to come. A lot of people are drawn to Cape York for well-known tracks like the Creb or the Telly track with its infamous gunshot. We had a new track on the route plan for today that we were keen to tackle.
We are going to Stones Crossing and we're going to try and get across that, which I was just talking to someone that said the eldest reckons we won't have any problems getting across there, so cross our fingers. And that'll take us through the Steve Irwin conservation park. Crossing our fingers that we get through, and it's twin track, so looking forward to it.
We don't know much about this track
At all. No one's.
Is it a new cut?
It's a new cut. Yeah, it's a new cut, and it's they've opened it up for tourism for Weipa. It's a twin track at the moment, so hopefully no one's wrecked it. So this will be the first time that any of us have wrecked it, and hopefully we can get through.
Bike's running well after it's had a few swims this week.
Bike's had a few swims, and I spoke to my mate Uncle Arthur at Desmond headquarters, Byron Bay, who is the genius on Ducatis, and he said to me, Pete, everything shall be all fine, just drop it on the way back and I'll tear her down and clean her up.
Ready to rock and roll. Bit nervous about the next crossing though. Here it's got some salties.
What is it called, that crossing? Really?
Well, it's salt water.
We're sharing the crossing with some.
I don't know who's going.
I think we're sending the captain in.
You were sending the captain in first.
Yeah.
He's tough.
Yeah, he's tough.
Tough to chew on. Big warning for this one, as I said, we need to go in there being a self-sufficient mindset. We don't really know what we're getting in for because we haven't wrecked this one. It is a new track. It's a gazetted road, but it's not a made or maintained road. We saw the eastern side of it yesterday afternoon, and it's literally twin track through grass. So there'll be all sorts of surprises in there. It's not the sort of track that you want to race. You definitely want to keep the pace down and be ready for any sort of surprises. So just keep it back down. We've got options, to kind of get in and out of there, and we've got some good comms going.
Have a fabulous day. Go and get dusted again.
In the lead up to GDR 3, I'd heard of a new track called Birdie Howe Track, or Stones Crossing, that had been freshly cut from Weipa to connect up with the PDR near Bramwell Roadhouse. It was apparently cut in by locals in buggies and quads, and was officially sanctioned by the Cook Shire as a way of increasing tourism access to Weipa. 19 brave souls opted for the challenge of riding into the unknown and take on this enduro track option after I gave a rider's briefing that was full of unknowns. One challenge that could be insurmountable was Stones Crossing, a crossing of the Wenlock River that could easily be too deep for the bikes to cross. I had heard it was tidal, so the depth couldn't vary, and of course, crocs could be about. We arrived at the Wenlock River crossing and were met with a sizable river that had strong flow and no clear line to cross. Thankfully, it was a rocky bottom, but that meant it was slippery and bloody uneven. We walked the crossing and found a line that kept the water depth to around knee high. It was deemed doable. The risk of drowning multiple bikes was high, so all the guys pulled together as an awesome team to help walk each bike across with a dead engine and a rag shoved up the exhaust to prevent water flowing in. Just walking the rocky bottom with strong water flow was hard enough. Pushing a 200 kilogram bike over those rocks caused some exertion, but we got a good program going. It took a minimum of 3 sets of hands on each bike and 2 hours to get all 19 bikes across. All the time we had a couple of croc spotters positioned high in the riverbanks and with a drone to warn us of snappy handbags. In 2018 we crossed the Snowy River on our Southern High ride. It took everyone to pull together to help make that crossing happen. Many of those riders still talk about that crossing today because of the camaraderie it created. I was keen to replicate that, but you just can't manufacture it. You need the right people and the right environment. What a team.
Well, it's actually not too bad, really. Look, if you've got the boys helping out, you can get the bikes through relatively easy, I think. It's not too bad at all. It's not, the water's nice.
That was awesome. So that was Stones Crossing. We just got everyone across. We've got 19 in the group. We weren't sure whether this crossing was going to be doable or not, and it was borderline. It was kind of knee deep a lot of the way through that water, really slippery with a rocky, stony bottom. We're about 60 kilometres out of Weipa at the moment, and we've got about 66 kilometres of track ahead of us to get back onto the Peninsula Development Road just south of Bramwell Roadhouse that we went past yesterday. We don't know what the track ahead of us is like. It's a new track, it's not maintained, it hasn't been graded or anything. It's just twin track through the bush as far as we know with tall grass. So we'll see what lies ahead, but that was a really good team effort by the guys there. We all had to have about 4 people on every bike to get across, and the guys all really pulled together, which is a good feeling. Awesome stuff. On the route sheet, it was probably one of the more dull days, but this one was always on the plan, and I think we're doing it in the right direction, because if we got here yesterday afternoon, late in the day, without a ute on the other side, it would have been a different proposition. So it's turned into a cracker of the day, and that water's so nice.
We're just going to see if there's crocodiles up ahead.
Yeah.
Or bears.
Oh.
Apparently they're both common in this area, crocodiles and bears.
Yep.
They get along. They work together.
Yeah, right.
Nasty shit. The bears ride the crocodiles across rivers too, so you can't get away from them just by crossing the river. So it's best to be careful, mate.
Yeah.
With some insight from Damo as to how to best survive this next section, we were into it. After leaving the river, what followed for the next 67 kilometres was 3 hours of solid on-the-foot pegs riding, wearing out first and second gear, with barely a chance to click up into third gear, or to sit and rest. The endless twin track weaved its way through knee-deep grass between trees, with bauxite gravel rolling around under the tyres. Even the flat open sections were not so flat. As soon as you tried to push the speed on this unformed track, it would jump up and bite you and say, "Not today, son." This was proper adventure. We eventually popped back out onto the Peninsula Development Road. Man, that track took its toll. 3 hours of standing on the pegs was super fatiguing. Stories will be told of that adventure for years to come. For all the guys that took on the challenge of Stones Crossing, they knew it was something special. 2 more days to go. I was crossing my toes and fingers we would get everyone to the finish at Palm Cove. Day 9, Cohen to Cooktown, 439 kilometres. There was a dilemma of overnight stolen thongs. Turns out the local dogs have a thing for thongs.
Yesterday afternoon I met a kangaroo. I was riding nice and easy and all of a sudden, bang! It's like, what the f***? What did I touch? Did I touch a rock? And Stu was with me, said, no, there's a kangaroo. I didn't see it. I am so lucky. It hit my bash plate and my foot. Love good boots. And I'm here today to tell the story.
I always have fun on these rides. That's what adventure riding's all about. Getting in the shit and getting yourselves out. And the teamwork.
Man, that enduro yesterday, it started right at the start of the day. We got down to that first creek crossing. What a mission to get those bikes across. 2 hours to get the bikes across. Beauty, have a quick swim, we're wrapped, get out on the trails. But were they trails? Not really even trails. They were just potholes and rocks the size of footballs and ruts that could swallow a whole motorbike. Trees every 5 feet down over the track, giving you a track to fall down on. It was, yeah, the most enduro you could possibly imagine on an adventure ride. It was a great day, good fun, really good fun, but hard on the gear. We copped the flog and the bikes are paying for it big time.
Day 9 of GDR3, and we had some logistics to sort before leaving Cohen after the sweep trailer broke an axle the day before. I was really looking forward to today's ride. The run across to Cooktown through Lakefield National Park is magnificent, with some wide open plains, massive termite mounds, lily covered waterholes, and a couple of decent sized rivers to cross. The scenery is something else and really makes you feel like you could be in the wilds of Africa. was right at the tail end of the group arriving into Cooktown, and by the time I got there, the hotel was awash with half-drunk, half-clothed men. I don't know what happened. Well, actually I do.
Sugar-free.
Captain bought the captain out and was dealing rum shots to everyone. It was clear all the riders were relieved to have survived the Cape and that we were nearly at the finish line. That and the fact that several wives would be joining us for our farewell dinner in Palm Cove tomorrow night meant they had to keep it tidy tomorrow. But tonight was a different story. Day 10, Cooktown to Palm Cove, 224 kilometres. This is it, the final day of Great Divide Ride. We're nearly done. I think there's a bit of fatigue kicking in on all of the faces. We're in Cooktown. We're just going to finish off this last day heading down to Palm Cove. It's blowing a gale, but we do have clear blue skies at the moment. There's a few clouds about. It does feel like it's going to bucket down rain again today though, so we'll see what happens. Another beautiful run through the Daintree rainforest. We were hoping to do the Creb track today, but it's been raining here quite a lot in the last 7 days, so the Creb tracks are no-go, and even the Daintree River at the far end apparently is impassable depth at the moment for the bike. So unfortunately can't do the Creb track, so we'll just have to come back again next year.
I mean, you look at all the good times and then the bad times like drowning a bike or punctures or whatever, and as long as you get out of it, and here we are on the last day and, you know, going back to camp and feeling really good about it. So happy you haven't spoken too soon though. So, still got one more to go. So.
It has been excellent. I haven't fallen off due to bad decisions. I've had a ball running at speeds that the bike's comfortable at. And yeah, just full on for a 66-year-old. I reckon this is great fun. Everybody should do it.
We couldn't have asked for a nicer last day. A relatively cruisy ride through the Bloomfield track in Daintree National Park. So this one's Imogen Creek Crossing in the Daintree National Park. We came through this one on, I think it was day 3. I've completely lost track of the days on this event. And now we're on day 10. We're coming south back through here again. We drowned 3 bikes in this creek the other day, so we're taking the super cautious approach today and walking the bikes through.
Nice safe method.
Yeah, exactly. A few guys have ridden through no problem, but there is a few big goony rocks underneath the surface that are waiting to catch you out. It's quite slippery here offline, but on the main line over there, it's the 4-wheel drives have gotten rid of the slime, so it's much grippier. Beautiful setting though. Can get crocodiles in this creek. I've never seen any here, but there's still warning signs around. I'd love to see a croc, frankly.
Careful what you wish for, Nick.
We got the whole crew back to Palm Cove, sweaty, dusty, wet, dirty and stinky, but with massive smiles on their faces and a brain full of experiences and memories.
You, well done. You made it. Fuck yeah. What a miss, eh? That is a big bucket list item. Congratulations, Nick.
Pepper's at Palm Cove was a pristine, clean, dust-free environment to relax in and enjoy one last dinner together. Thank you, one and all, for making it here safely to Palm Cove. We showed a selection of Damien Ashenhurst's images from during the ride, which got the attention of everyone. Some great images that will help us remember. GDR3 is done for 2023, but the neat thing is we get to do it all again next year with a repeat of Stage 3. Most of the support crew have already put their hands up to come back north again. To ride the entire length of Australia's Great Dividing Range has been an epic experience, one that will not be quickly forgotten.
We were southern souls on a western road as the valleys climbed into mountains tall, and we wondered why we were there at all. It was the Great Divide and the mountains tall, singing oh, whoa, oh, whoa. We were singing oh, whoa, oh, whoa. If we find our way, we may never be the same. And if we lose everything, what have we to gain? If we don't try to go, we may never know what we were built to be. Only we can decide to cross the Great Divide.